Welcome to the ME channel, Metaphysical Entities. I'm your host, Greg Smith. Thank you for being here today as we delve through the fundamental principles of life and personal experiences. Our mantra is, life is a mystery to unravel, but never a problem to solve. Because we realize there's always a resolution because problems are forever invented. We're going to dive into today's topic, which is attachments. I'm going to fuse attachments with last week's episode of individuality. You can't understand individuality without attachments. So we're going to delve into this. Attachments brings association we adhere to and the things that we keep bonded to us, like people, things, circumstances, and situations. It helps us separate these things. This assigned tie create dependability separate from individuality. Attachments or being attached birth the unwanted toxicities of co-ops. What we're doing, we are fusing individuality with attachments. It takes the pressure off accountability. This is what attachment does. It takes the pressure off accountability and redirect responsibility. We all have took on somebody else's problems. Instead of them being accountable for it, we got into it and it redirect their responsibility towards us. People do it every day in so many ways. Parents become crutches to their kids when they do it. Because two individual or independent vessels of any kind that avoids attachments can sustain the mixture of toxins that destroy its individual purpose and perspective, whether it's personal or relatively related. That's that mixture. It can't sustain itself, its individual purpose, or the individuality concept of the character and culture it wants to be, or already is. Independency sustains a natural flow. It has its own flow. When you add or subtract to it, it becomes toxic. It's an imbalance. Because when that happens, self-obedience heightens its sense of awareness. Togetherness bonds and ignites. If it's two individual or independent entities, it can bond and unite on its own. it brings about substance. With detachment, it removes its character and its culture from its own being, from itself. That's what attachment does. The qualifications become unified and not individualized, because it's extracting everything that it is, and once it extracts from what it is, the mixture destroys the purity of it, the purification. It's like adding oil to water. That's what it's like. Adding oil to water. When you're not being yourself. When you're being attached to something. Because it's going to take away from you. Attachments cause the subconscious to react involuntarily to its own inheritance. It pick up something or somebody else inheriting what it's supposed to be or what it's supposed to become. Everybody was born with their own inheritance in them. And you know the catch to this, when we're going to dive into this, when I talk about attachments and that we fusing attachments with last week's episode of individuality, is this. Everybody in the world, we were all born and we were all separated from our mom's umbilical cord. They removed the attachment to allow us to be individual. And for that purpose, to create the sense of individuality from that point when the umbilical cord was separated. That's why you hear that saying by many, you still holding on to mom's titty. Whether it's a male or a female. That's why you still got 35-year-old, 40 years old still living with their moms. That's why you got men still trying to live with a female, or a female sitting there trying to live off a male because they codependent. They didn't take the titty out their mouth yet. They don't want to. They want to hold on to it as long as they can. But I'm here to tell you, being independent is removing yourself from attachments. That's what independent is. And that's when you hear people say, I'm grown, I'm 3 times 7 plus. Because those people understand that they remove themselves from the attachment. So like I say on every show before I leave, don't consider nothing to be true by believing it, nor to be true by direct cognition. Remove your attachments from anything, place, person, circumstance, or situation. Understand your individuality by removing attachments. See you later.